let's get into the real business. That's drafting. So know your clothes usually start from the shoulder. That's where it starts from. So we start from the shoulder measurement. Now for the front pattern, you measure from this point, half of the shoulder measurement. Now this pattern we're drafting, we're not going to add any seam allowance. Everything is done without seam allowance for easy alteration, for easy manipulation to other styles. So the shoulder is 16, half of it is what? 8. So I marked 8 here. Alright. Now you're going to come down 1.5 inches because the shoulder at the front is slopey. It's more slopey than the back. The back is a bit raised. So we do bigger or we slant it more at the front than what we do at the back. So I'll just go ahead, use my ruler and connect. I'm measuring here again and connect the 1.5 to my CF. Okay, good. So once I've done this, I'm going to place all my length measurements. My length measurements, the first one is my chest depth. My chest depth is 6. I'll write it chest. Okay, let me use a pen. Though we don't use pen on patterns. The second one is my upper bust length, which is 7.5. So I'll label it upper bust. The next one is my bust point. So I'll write bust line. The other one is my under bust length. I'll write it on under bust. Okay. After the under bust, I'll measure out my front half length. I'll write waist line. Good. Now from my waistline downwards, you can see it's 9 inches. That's what we use for the length of the bodice pattern. Okay, so you can actually do this one first and now just measure your hip length. Now this waistline, I'm going to rule the line to get to my CB. So I'm measuring from here. Are you seeing it? I'm going to measure out that 18 inches and rule a line. Let me use my L square and rule a line, cutting from my CB all the way this way. Good. So this is my waistline. So these ones I will just measure them halfway. So why I'm measuring both sides, so that my lines will be straight and parallel. I don't want them bent in any way. So I'm measuring all my chest, my upper bust, my under bust circumference and all. Now, for now, I will not rule the line for my under bust. This is the beauty of the L square. Even if you don't mark both ways, you can actually just square your lines by connecting this line to wherever it gives you. So that's what I'm going to do now. It gives you more accurate measurements. So for now, I will leave off the under bust circumference. For now, I'm not going to rule the line until we start contouring. Okay. So after your shoulder is your chest. So on the chest line, marking horizontally now. Like remember what I said, the length measurements are the ones you measure this way. So we've done the chest depth, we've done the upper bust length, we've done the bust point, we've done the under bust, and we've done the half length and hip. So now we're going circumference round. Okay, chest width. Our chest width is 13. So we're going to divide it into 2. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. Please don't be afraid of dividing and saying mathematics. Just use your calculator. Life is made easy. Okay, so I'll mark that 13 on the chest line, and I'll still mark it on the upper bust. They are just guidelines to draw your armhole. So you can see I've connected both of them. So the next thing I'll do is to connect my shoulder point. This is my shoulder point. I'll connect it to my chest point. Okay, like so, with a straight ruler. All right. Then you get the center of these two markings. Let me use my tape. get the center. This is 4.75. Okay, I will divide it and I will get 4.75 is 2.25 and a back. That's the middle. Okay, then I will move away and go to the upper bust. Now this is chest width divided by 2. This is shoulder divided by 2. And we came down here by 1.5 inches. I want to write them down so you remember them when you're walking. So we still mark the same chest width divided by 2 to get this point. Okay, but on this line, maybe I have to clean this so I don't confuse you. What you just do is, once you have measured this, draw a straight line that is equal to this space. Just draw a straight line to get this point. So now on your upper bust, you're going to measuring from your CF this way, whatever your bust measurement is, divided by 4. Our bust divided by 4 is 9.5. It's 38 divided by 4 is 9.5, and this is what 9.5 is. Now, because when you're doing tops, you need to give ease around here for the arm movement. So we usually add a little ease around here. For people that are on the small size or medium size, we usually do 1/4 of an inch, while big size and extra large, we do 1/2 of an inch. So for this person, we will do 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so we added 1/4 of an inch here. So whatever ease you use here is what you're going to use to curve the armhole. So at this midpoint that we marked here, I'll mark 1/4 of an inch also inward. Okay, I hope you understand what I just did. Good. And you use your armhole curve to connect. Use your armhole curve to connect your shoulder point and the 1/4 inch to your chest point this way. Connect this and then connect this. Now the whole idea is for this angle not to exceed 1 inch. If it doesn't touch this point, it's okay. So once it's exceeding 1 inch, then you're going to have bulge around your armhole. So you just draw the armhole with your curve. Now for some body shapes, you'll be able to draw this whole thing at once. But if you're not able to do it at once, connect these 3 first, then you connect the armhole curve. Alright, so we're done with the armhole. We're moving over to the bust area. Now on the bust line, I'm going to mark exactly the person's bust divided by 4, which is 38 divided by 4. Is 38 divided by 4. And I got 9.5. Alright, good. Then I'll come down. I'm leaving off the waistline for now. I'll come down at the hip and mark the person's hip divided by 4, which gave us 10.5. So I'm going to connect these 2 lines with a straight ruler for now. I'm connecting the hip to the bust. Okay. So when I connect it, I'll now come over to the waistline and mark the waist measurement divided by 4. The waist measurement is 33. Divided by 4 will give us 8.25, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll mark where it is. So what I'm going to check now is the excess between this line, we'll call it a margin line, this straight line that we marked, and the actual waist measurement. And what we have here is 1.75. That's 1/3. So this is the excess I need to remove from this front bodice to get this person's shape to her waist measurement. Now, what we do, we will consider the shape. Is this person curvy at the shape line or curvy at around the dart line? Okay, so because it's not everybody you just do 1 inch darts for and it suits the person. So you watch these 2 and know what to do. But for this person, I'm going ahead to do 1 inch dart. All right, because they don't have so much excess. Most times the excess is more than this. So I'm going ahead to mark the the dark line. So how do I get the dark line? From the bust point, I'm going to do half inch below the bust. Half inch below the bust is somewhere here. Okay, so this is where the half inch below the bust is. Then I'm going 5 or 6 inches below the waistline. Okay, let me use 5 inches for this person. So this is the length of the dart. Width-wise, to get the dart line, we do nipple to nipple divided by 2. Nipple to nipple divided by 2 is 4. So I'll mark it at both dart positions and connect with a straight line. And connect with a straight line. So this is what it looks like. Beautiful. So this is our dart line. This is where we're going to place our dart. So because I want to give 1 inch here, I'll just go ahead and mark half of that 1 inch, both sides of the dart line. So this is half and this is half. Then I'll connect it, and you're marking it at the waistline, no other place, because that is where you want to remove the excess. So I'll connect it like so. This half inch to this dart point. The same this way. Beautiful. So now we've done the first dart, which is the waist dart for the front pattern. And remember, we had 1.75, so we're giving 1 inch here. The remaining 1.75, we're going to give it to the shape line. That's the seam. Okay, and this time we're going to use the hip curve. Now, if you look at your body shape, here went in while here came out. So when you're using your hip curve to mark your shape line, from your bust to your waist needs to go in this way, while waist to hip needs to go this way. Good. So this is the 1.75. Now at the bust, you're connecting the upper bust to the bust area. Okay, you can actually use a bit the part that is a bit curvy because of the bulge of your bust. So we're almost done. Just to mark the neck circumference, I didn't put neck circumference here. The neck circumference is the base of your neckline. You can see what I'm wearing. It's actually my neck circumference. I didn't want the clothes to be low. So if you measure the base of the neckline, whatever you have, but let's say this person's neck circumference is like 15. Okay, so whatever you measure, you divide it by 6, and that becomes your width. Okay, 15 divided by 6 will give us 2.5. So I'll mark 2.5. That's my neck width. So for the depth, any neck width you have, just add half inch. It gives you the neck depth. That's the neck depth. So I'm just marking this. I'll square it so that I can get a perfect curve when I'm curving. So once you've done this, you're done with your front pattern.